This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anyone.
Rihanna just had her third baby not too long ago, but she's already causing a stir, dropping alleged bombshells about Beyonce, hinting at some shady cover-ups for Diddy, and getting tied to those wild freak-off rumors. People have always been curious. Why didn't Rihanna and Beyonce ever team up? Especially since they both had tight ties to Jay-Z? Well, it looks like the truth is finally surfacing. Rihanna once looked up to Beyonce, even calling her one of her biggest inspirations. But now, she barely acknowledges her. And the story behind that switch-up is wild. Allegedly, not only did Rihanna have to deal with Jay-Z coming on to her, and even locking her in his office when she was just 17, but reports now claim that Beyonce tried to pull her into some freaky situations involving Diddy. What? Rihanna thought she could trust Beyonce, especially when things got messy with Jay. But she quickly learned that Beyonce might not be the loyal, supportive type she pretends to be. Word is, she wasn't trying to help Rihanna. She was too busy playing both sides. Things really started to look suspicious when Freddie, a former member of Da Band from Diddy's old MTV show, spilled the tea. Remember that wild moment when Diddy made them walk across the city to grab a cheesecake? Well, Freddie said it wasn't even for Diddy. It was for Beyonce. And get this, she was the one who told Diddy to make them walk instead of sending a car. Now that's just petty. And that's only scratching the surface. They were in New York at the time, and the walk to downtown? It took 4 hours on foot. Diddy made those boys hike all that way just to grab him a slice of cheesecake. Or so we thought. Everyone was too busy laughing at the humiliation to realize how twisted that move really was. But recently, things took a wild turn when Freddie P finally told the real story. And it turns out that cheesecake wasn't even for Diddy. It was for Beyonce. Yeah, you read that right. All this time, people believed Diddy was just punishing the boys for his own entertainment, when really, it was Beyonce who said she wanted that cheesecake. And instead of sending someone from her own camp to grab it, she let Diddy use those poor guys like errand boys on national TV. Straight up embarrassing. You'd think she'd feel bad watching them suffer like that, all sweaty, exhausted, and humiliated, just so she could eat some dessert. But according to Freddie, Beyonce didn't bat an eye. She took that cheesecake and enjoyed every bite like nothing happened.
A lot of people don't know that cheesecake we went and got was for Beyonce. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact. People don't know. People like, y'all walked together cheesecake. It was for Beyonce. I'm the type of nigga. I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say, walk to the store, or walk to get me some cheesecake, I'll walk to get you some cheesecake, but I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, you know, they hot. Like, y'all cheating. And we like, he told us to walk. He didn't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met him in front of the building. And you know the first thing that said out of his mouth? He said, oh, we got the cheesecake. He was like, oh, take that shit upstairs for Beyonce. Then he said, they was like, yeah, man, we wanted to tell you, Fred and Darlon, they ain't walk back. You know, trying to be on some snitching shit. He's like, I ain't tell you.
Freddie even said, I ain't tell you nothing about walking back. That hit hard. She didn't care how far they had to walk or what they went through. She got what she wanted. Now, people are asking, why did Diddy go that far just to please Beyonce? From what we knew, they weren't that close, besides her being married to his business buddy Jay-Z. So what was really going on behind the scenes? But word is, Beyonce wasn't just watching from the sidelines, she was allegedly in those freak-offs too. Rapper DaBaby spilled the tea not too long ago, sharing what went down the night he met Beyonce and Jay-Z at a private party hosted by Diddy. According to him, Diddy cleared the whole room, leaving just DaBaby, Beyonce, Jay, and himself behind. Real exclusive vibes, but also real shady. Once it was just them, DaBaby said Beyonce started chatting him up heavy and even introduced herself like she was just some regular chick. Like, come on, she's Beyonce. Everybody in the room already knows who she is, so what was that really about? Jaguar Wright came in with more claims, saying that wasn't just a casual convo, it was actually a freak-off setup. Allegedly, Beyonce was trying to seduce DaBaby, trying to get him to give her that street heat. Because apparently Jay-Z wasn't doing the job anymore. She even threw some heat at Jay, calling him a dirty old man, period. That's cold.
I say I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people, he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in
right.
at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period. You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with the DaBaby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shay. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, you know, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let DaBaby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyonce presented herself to him. And she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was and he couldn't believe she was talking to him. But she approached him. Kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?" My. How illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. Why does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle knows harder. It does not matter how much money they spend, how many people, those tickets ain't gonna sell. You're caught. I wish you had the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdos. With his little orange purse. Screwing people's kids. Screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shame on you. You a dirty old man. Period.
But here's where things take a darker twist. Rumors say that Jay and Beyonce once tried to bring Rihanna into those freak-offs too. That's supposedly what pushed her to back away from the industry. When she said no to their invite, things allegedly got real shady, like her anti-album getting leaked as punishment. That's when Rihanna realized it was time to step back and protect her peace. A lot of folks think this is exactly why Rihanna's been so hesitant to jump back into the music game, because she knows what really went down behind the scenes and wants no part of it anymore. And honestly, can you blame her? She's got Fenty pulling in billions. Why would she ever go back to dealing with that kind of mess? Now, for some quick context, Rihanna actually used to be a huge Beyonce fan. She even called her the biggest inspiration in her life. It was real love at first. But everything started changing once Rihanna began blowing up in the mainstream. The closer she got to Beyonce, the more that admiration started fading. And when the industry spotlight hit both of them, that so-called sisterhood started to crumble. Things hit rock bottom when Beyonce dropped her track Bow Down. That's when the claws really came out. People were shocked. Beyonce, the same woman who preached about women empowerment with Girls Run the World, suddenly turned around and dropped lines like "bow down, bye," over and over again. That had people scratching their heads. Fans called her out quick, like, how are you gonna lift women up 1 minute and tear them down the next? It didn't sit right. And instead of owning up to it or showing any type of grace toward Rihanna, Beyonce got tight and defensive. She didn't even try to make it right. She just doubled down and kept it pushing. Rihanna was heated and she didn't hold back. She went straight to Twitter to throw shade at Beyonce. She posted an article that crowned her the Queen of Pop in the UK and added a savage caption. "I only know how to be number one. I could use a challenge. How that feel down there on your knees?" Now that hit hard, and fans instantly clocked it as a shot fired straight at Beyonce. Many believe Beyonce's attitude toward Rihanna turned cold when the streets started buzzing with rumors that Jay-Z was getting too close to Riri. But now it's looking like there might have been even more to it. Like Rihanna refusing to take part in those alleged freak-offs with Beyonce and Diddy. And if you didn't know, the whole Jay-Z affair rumor actually started with Rihanna's own publicist. Yup, her team kicked it all off to stir attention for Pon to Replay. But later, the publicist tried to clean it up by saying, "That PR stunt was done out of desperation. I didn't think it would work. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick." Still, a lot of people weren't buying it, especially after Rihanna reportedly came forward with a serious claim. She said that the day she got signed, Jay-Z locked her in his office and didn't let her out until she signed the deal. And she was underage at the time, but people don't believe he stopped at just forcing a signature. There's talk that it went even darker than that. And remember, some say Beyonce and Jay allegedly tried to ruin the rollout of ANTI just because Rihanna wouldn't join them in that mess. If that's true, then Rihanna's silence today speaks volumes. And let's talk about that anti-album leak, because it didn't just happen anywhere. It leaked on Tidal, the very platform owned by Beyonce and Jay-Z. That leak forced Rihanna to drop the album earlier than planned, messing up all her promo. Meanwhile, guess whose album got the full spotlight? Beyonce's Lemonade. While Anti moved just 124,000 copies in its first week, Lemonade flew off the shelves with a massive 653,000. Coincidence? A lot of people don't think so. The tension between them got so thick, it couldn't be ignored.
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter, and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me, just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control.
Rihanna and Beyonce were even caught dodging each other at the Tidal press conference. According to a source who spoke to Naughty Gossip, the two straight up refused to stand next to one another or speak at all. The entire event was staged so carefully that it became obvious. They didn't want anything to do with each other. Now, nobody knows for sure if Rihanna will take the stand or speak out legally about all this. But one thing's for sure, it's not looking good for Beyonce. More and more people are connecting the dots, and every day, the story gets messier. One person commented, "The fact that Rihanna and Beyonce have never done a song together says it all." And honestly, it really does.
Bow down B over and over from the woman who preaches empowering women is a bit unsettling to some.
I just feel like it's kind of, it's hard to swallow. Just very hard to swallow, having seen her in a different light.
I don't like it. I don't think it's her. I don't think it goes with what she represents.
I love Beyonce, but I honestly think that Jay-Z's putting thoughts in her head.
You're on a Pepsi can, for goodness sakes, to tell B words to bow down. And then you're saying girls run the world.
Another added, Beyonce knows exactly what kind of man Jay-Z is. She knows he likes them young. Jay definitely messed with Rihanna. And now the real question, do you think Rihanna just exposed Beyonce's ties to Diddy and those secret parties? And was Beyonce really out there joining in on those freak-offs too? The drama hit a boiling point when Anti mysteriously leaked on Tidal, a streaming service owned by none other than Beyonce and Jay-Z. That leak forced Rihanna to drop the album earlier than planned, messing up her entire rollout.
The reason I put out Bow Down is because I woke up, I went into the studio, I had a chant in my head. It was aggressive, it was angry. It wasn't the Beyonce that wakes up every morning. It was the Beyonce that was angry. It was the Beyonce that felt the need to defend herself. And if this song never comes out, okay, I said it. And I listened to it after I finished, and I said, this is hot. I'm gonna put it out. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna just put it out. People like it, great. They don't, they don't. And I won't do it every day because that's not who I am. But I feel strong. And anyone that says, oh, that is disrespectful, just imagine a person that hates you. Imagine a person that doesn't believe in you and look in the mirror and say, bow down, bitch. And I guarantee you feel gangster. So listen to that song from that point of view again if you didn't like it before.
Meanwhile, Beyonce's album, set to release around the same time, got the full promo treatment. Rihanna's album only moved 124,000 units in its first week, while Lemonade exploded with a jaw-dropping 653,000. You can't tell fans that was just some random accident. Things got even icier at the Tidal press conference. Rihanna and Beyonce were straight up avoiding each other like it was personal. A source spilled to naughty gossip that they didn't stand next to each other, didn't speak, and barely acknowledged one another the entire time. The whole event looked staged down to the second, like someone made sure they didn't cross paths. That's not tension. That's war. People started whispering that the leak was more than just bad luck. The timing was too perfect. And the silence between these two megastars? Loud. Now, the question everybody's asking is, will Rihanna take the stand or speak out officially? We don't know yet, but one thing's clear. It's not looking good for Beyonce right now. People online are putting the puzzle together, and every new detail makes the situation look even messier. One fan said, the fact Rihanna and Beyonce never collabed says it all. That silence between them? That's louder than any song. Another chimed in, come on now. Beyonce knows exactly who Jay is. She knows he's been out here chasing younger girls. He definitely messed with Rihanna. And now folks are circling back to Beyonce's alleged ties to Diddy. Could Rihanna be spilling secrets by staying silent? Is she subtly exposing Beyonce's connection to those rumored freak-off parties? More and more people are starting to believe she is. It's wild how everything's coming full circle. What started as whispers is now blowing up across social media. Rihanna's silence might be her loudest move yet. But what do you think? Did Beyonce really know what was going down with Jay and Diddy? And was she really a part of those late-night scenes everyone's talking about? What really shook folks was how all these little pieces started making one big, ugly picture. Rihanna didn't have to say much. Her moves were speaking for her. From the anti-rollout mess, to her dodging Beyonce in public, to never collaborating even once, people started connecting the dots. And the math was mathing. Social media went wild. The silence, the stares, the distance, it all started to feel intentional. One post said, ain't no way two queens like that never dropped even one track together unless there's serious beef.
Tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you. A really good audition. Yes. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did it homework.
I did a lot of homework on you this lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure working with Jay-Z, you've met Beyonce.
That's right.
How was it like meeting her?
I could not speak.
Really?
Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice.
Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because she'd be like, what? You know how she does.
Another person added, Rihanna don't play with messy people, and she's too real to fake it for cameras. It's like Rihanna took all that pressure, all that behind-the-scenes mess, and flipped it into power. She built her own empire with Fenty, stepped out of the chaos, and never looked back. Meanwhile, Beyonce stayed in the spotlight. But now people are asking, what's been hiding in that spotlight all along? This might not be just about industry drama anymore. It's starting to look like something deeper, something that's been swept under the rug for years. And the more fans dig, the more it all looks connected. Every stare, every leak, every rumor. Now it's all resurfacing. Now the internet's in full detective mode, and Beyonce's name keeps coming up next to Diddy's more than ever before. With Diddy already being dragged into headlines for wild and disturbing accusations, people are re-examining every celeb who was close to him. And Beyonce's name is high on that list. The connection between her, Diddy, and Jay-Z has folks raising eyebrows like never before. One user wrote, "She was in too many rooms with him to not know what was going on. No way she didn't see it." Another person added, "Rihanna stayed quiet for years, but now it's adding up why she distanced herself." Even the so-called innocent cheesecake story is being seen differently now. What used to be a funny moment from reality TV is starting to look like something darker. Why would Beyonce let Diddy send young boys on a humiliating mission across New York just for her dessert? And if that was just one moment we saw, imagine what happened behind closed doors. Beyonce's silence through all this is making people even more suspicious. As more allegations and stories surface, fans are wondering if she's trying to stay clear or stay quiet. Either way, the pressure's building, and people are demanding answers. What's really been going on all these years behind the scenes? And is Rihanna done keeping quiet? Or is this just the start of her telling the real story? At this point, it's not just rumors. It's a whole storm brewing. The layers behind Rihanna's silence, Beyonce's connections, and Diddy's shady history are stacking up fast. And the craziest part? We might still be scratching the surface. Every day, more people are coming forward, more stories are being pulled out from the past, and more dots are getting connected. Rihanna stepping back from music might not have been a random decision. It's starting to look like a survival move. She saw the games, the power plays, the dark deals, and said, nope. She built her own brand, her own empire, and stayed far away from the mess. Meanwhile, Beyonce kept playing her role in the spotlight. But now, fans are questioning how clean that spotlight really is. People are watching closely now. They want to know, did Beyonce knowingly turn a blind eye? Did she stay silent to protect her own image? And how deep was her involvement with Diddy's inner circle? Whatever the truth is, Rihanna's distance, her silence, her moves, they're making more noise than a headline ever could. And if she decides to speak up for real, it's gonna flip the industry on its head. So what do you think? Is Beyonce's past finally catching up with her? Was Rihanna forced out to protect herself? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next twist in this wild ride.